This is Curious Brainfarts.
Welcome to Curious Brainfarts, the show where two ordinary people get curious about something. If you had to, and you do, how would you describe a curious brain fart?
A curious brain fart is a thought that pops into our heads. And the important thing is, without judging it, we're just sharing it because we're curious. Hello, good day to you.
All right.
Only down one side. If looks could kill, listeners. Paul's just cut me a right dirty look.
I gave you side eye, I think you're fine.
Yes, which is another way.
I mean, side eye is a different skill to a death stare.
But a dirty, I would argue that
okay.
the umbrella term dirty
I
look
see.
encompasses both the death stare and the side eye.
Well, dirty is open to interpretation as well, because a dirty look could be, oh.
That's true. And I would hope, as my brother, you're not giving me one of those.
If you're trying to make me vomit, you're very close.
Because
we were just talking about actually the umbrella term for like Paddington Bears.
What?
The Paddington Bear stare.
Oh, hard stare.
The hard stare.
Mum used to say that I used to give people, when I was a child, I used to give people hard stares.
What do you mean you used to?
They'd say something to me like, coochie coo little girl, and I'd just be like, zzz, hard stare right back at ya.
You what? I'll give you coochie coo.
Get out of my face, love.
You spoke really well for such a young age.
Yes, I was...
Surprised you weren't on the telly.
I was...
A talking baby.
Whatevs.
Whatever.
So, Paul.
What?
What are we going to flap our gums about today?
Well, we started off with staring. Because you were dissing my side eye. I tell you what, my daughter's got a pretty good side eye.
Has she?
I won't lie to you.
Fair play.
Yeah. She can get the old side eye. She can get the side eye out, for sure.
For sure. Hundy P.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's teenagers.
And that's
I
what
don't
like.
want to generalise.
No. And what I like about side eye is you don't have to pick a side.
It's agnostic from that
It
point
is.
of view.
And you can use one or
Both
both
sides
eyes.
of your eyes.
You could use one or both eyes.
Hang on a
Here you go,
minute. You don't do a one-eyed side eye.
Well, if you've got one eye, you do.
Yeah.
It's not called side eyes.
No, it's not actually. Mainly, I think because obviously your profile is. Anyway, I'm gesturing. That's
No,
not
it's
good
good.
for an audio
Yes.
situation. Anyway,
Adjacent. Is that what you mean?
well,
Your profile is adjacent to the other
by
person?
virtue of the fact that it's side eye and not
Right.
a full-on stare,
Full on eye.
then your profile is going to be the thing that's visible to the other person. So I think it's side eye because obviously one side of your face is more prevalent.
You're thinking about this a lot.
But it doesn't imply you only use one of your eyes. Because then you're winking, aren't you?
Depends how long your eyes closed.
It's a long blink or a wink.
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
But you're blinking is both eyes.
I mean, if you do a long wink, then, I mean, well, how long does it have to be before it's not a wink anymore? And you just got one eye closed.
Look, whichever way you cut this, you're coming across. I think your side-eye message is being lost in the delivery method because if you want to convey your displeasure, faffing about with blinking, winking and all that, it's going to muddy the waters, that's all I'm saying. Paul's lost it, everyone. He's gone off on one.
Sorry. Was that... Have we got to leave this in as well? Sorry, was that side eye or side eyes? I didn't couldn't quite see your other eye.
What if you've got a wandering eye? You'd be less effective with the side eye.
Maybe you could get both people at the same time. You could do two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got people sat either side of you.
Get them both. Simultaneous side eye.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice. It's a niche.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. I don't think my daughter could do that, to be fair.
Well, she needs to up her game then, doesn't she?
Up her game. Get them eyes wandering.
God blimey.
Coming in for a crash landing.
Anyway,
Right.
be that very much as it may. Bob Fleming. What is
Yeah.
the actual topic? Side eye digression aside.
I think we've just identified a topic. That's all I'm saying. What was it? You used the umbrella term.
Well, I used one, and then
Yeah,
you
what was
said
the
you
umbrella
weren't
term?
happy with it.
Yeah, no, because
I said dirty look, and
Dirty
you said
look,
that had
that's what it was.
connotations, and then you said hard stare, and we went Paddington and etc.
yeah.
Blah blah blah.
So,
Marmalade sandwiches.
staring. Staring is caring. You're trying to convey something. So
Non-verbally.
Great. Well, hold on. Let me engage the random generator.
Random theme generator. Random theme generator.
Excellent. Good.
Yes.
And the winner is manifesting.
Manifesting.
So, referring back to Oxford, England again. Okay, great. Show, open brackets, a quality or feeling, close brackets, by one's acts or appearance. Demonstrate. The example for that is Lizzie manifested signs of severe depression. Oh, that's a bit dark. And then it can be evidence of or prove. And it can be, in terms of an ailment, become apparent through the appearance of symptoms. Interesting. So it's showing something. It's evidence or proving something. Bad industrial relations are often manifested in strikes. And then it's becoming apparent through the appearance of symptoms. A disorder that usually manifests in middle age.
It's interesting because none of those definitions speak to the kind of manifesting that's about visualizing, an outcome.
Well, let's ask Cambridge. Because what Cambridge has to say about this, so Oxford doesn't have all the answers. So if you go with Cambridge, it says to show something clearly through signs or actions. So manifest something in something. And then the example for that is the workers chose to manifest their dissatisfaction in a series of strikes. So it's a similar vibe.
It is similar.
Yes. I just thought it was different in terms of to show something clearly through signs or actions.
And that is interesting when you think about manifesting an outcome.
Yeah.
And, all that law of attraction stuff, and the energetic free. I mean, look, I'm not dissing any of that at all. I think the thing about, thinking and visualizing and feeling the future that you want, amazing, because I think it definitely tunes you into a direction. But to the dictionary definitions point, if you don't follow that up with any action, then you're just daydreaming, aren't you?
Yeah.
So if in order to manifest something, it has to be attached to action.
And when it's detached, you get this other thing, courtesy of Cambridge Dictionary, to make something happen by imagining it and consciously thinking that it will happen. Some people believe you can manifest a healthy body. She claims she can help you manifest a new job, more money, or a new relationship, which is maybe only the starting point. As you were saying, you need to actually do something.
And I think that what happens, and I'm no psychologist, but I think that what happens is that when you put a powerful outcome, one that you've thought about, visualized richly, maybe even made it into a short movie clip in your head, for example, with sound and color, and you feel the impact of this being true in your life, whatever it is that you want to be different, then that's a really powerful signal for the brain.
So, for example, wanting to buy something. Typically, big examples being a house or a new car. You imagine what it would be like having the new car, because it's got more seats, it's faster, it's bigger, smaller, whatever. And you imagine what that's like. I can't wait until I've got that new car because... Or you're moving to a bigger house and you imagine having friends over and sharing things and having more space and not being on top of each other and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that would be so great. I can't wait for that because it will feel like this. And you can start to connect with the thing. I can't wait for those pair of new trainers.
Yeah.
Because I'll be able to run faster.
And when I have, transformed my career like this, or when I have when my relationship looks like that, or whatever it is, whether it's a thing or a change of state or a transformation that you want to, whatever it is, and it can be a whole gamut of things, I guess. You can smash all of that together in a way. It's I think you've tuned into the thing that's the most important, which is how it makes you feel.
And the reason for using those the car, house, things examples is because everybody tunes into that. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Why are you going after something else? Because you've tuned into how it might make you feel, what it might be like after you've got the thing. Which is sort of like the first step before you then start taking action and go, right, I'm going to find a car or buy a house or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Order those new trainers.
Yeah.
You've imagined what it would be like first of all. Oh, that would be right for me because...
And you're drawing the outcome or the future, imagining that richly, however that works for you, and then bringing it into the here and now.
Yeah.
And kind of the brain is an outcome focused machine.
Yeah.
So you're giving it that outcome, and people talk about, I manifested this, and then I had that, or I had the thing I'd manifest or whatever. Yeah. And in the middle, you did stuff.
Yep.
I manifested money and then £3,000 arrived in my bag. Yeah, but the issue I have with it in a way is that it implies there's a magic kind of no effort or action element to it, which is like a fairy godmother type vibe.
100%.
Magic wand, ba-ding, actually, the £3,000 arrived in my bank account because it just so happened that was the day that the person I'd lent £3,000 to chose to repay me. Or it just so happened that was the day that somebody paid an invoice for that amount, or whatever, it's because those things are out there, and they've, and there's a timing thing, I think, for sure,
Yeah.
But how much of that is coincidentals? How much of that, I'm not sure. But I do know that putting a picture in your mind of where it is you want to go can be a very powerful thing. I've done that in my own life when I was going through a very difficult transition in my life, and you're just hugely uncertain and unsure. Everything is on the wonk. Everything's wobbly. Nothing is you don't feel like you've got anything stable. So what I did is I visualised. You could say it was manifesting. I didn't call it that. I don't think the label matters particularly. But I visualised this outcome that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I've done it a number of times. And I that's the thing I held on to. Not the, that was a kind of a little guiding light, if you like, through this difficulty, this murkiness. And then when you look over your shoulder in 6 months' time, oh, I'm either very close to this thing or I have it. And it can feel, if you're not tuned into the process, and we're not always tuned into it, it can feel a bit like, oh, it's here. Look at that. Magic. Actually, no. I've put that outcome in my head and then taken a series of steps to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And, I've seen lots of things about, do these 5 things and you'll be happy, do these 5 things, you'll be richer, do these 5 things, you'll be whatever. And in a way, it's irrelevant to what extent or not those things are true for me. The important thing is the more, going back to those different examples, the difficult period you were in and visualising a difference, someone thinking about getting something new and what that will mean for them, so massive thing, small thing, spending the time to understand what it is, what it means, what it looks like, how I feel about it, how it will make me feel, is so important. Because, if you really want something, then you will need to do something different. And so if you tune in enough to enough different hooks to entice yourself, I think for myself, maybe like with getting fit, for example, manifesting getting fit is much more helpful than just going, I want to be slimmer, I want to look okay, so, well, what does getting fit mean? Because the more hooks I can lay for myself, the more likely I am to catch one. And then another, and then another, and another. So although those definitions are a bit weird from Oxford, England and Cambridge
England.
Cambridge Dictionary, it's actually, you've got the abstract thing to make something happen by imagining it and consciously thinking that it will happen, and it needs to be connected to show something clearly through signs or actions.
And I think that there is a frequency thing here, because a while ago there's this guy Darren Brown. You've probably heard of him. He's very skilled at suggestion and NLP and things like. He's really very good, and he does some hypnotism and different other things, and he's done large scale stunts.
Yeah, like really
Really
crazy
big,
things,
cray things.
like influencing people without ever coming into contact with them.
Yeah. So he did this thing in the UK. He set this thing up. It was about luck.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
there was this town in the north of England, and this was the luckiest town. You know, there was a dog in the park, and if you stroked its ears, you'd be lucky, and all these other things. And there was this guy, he ran a shop in this town, and he considered himself to be unlucky. That's how he spoke and thought of himself. And so they set up they laid a series of hooks in his path that would give him money and opportunity, and he literally didn't see them.
Yep.
He walked
He
over.
didn't reject them. He
No,
just didn't
he
see
just
them.
didn't see them. And I think so. He walked over some money, £50 or something. There was a billboard on the side of a lorry that said, "Derek, call this number to win loads of money." He just and it parked outside of his shop, and he never even saw it. So it's possible that this visualization, this outcome-based stuff, simply wakes us up to the things that were already there, that if we didn't adjust our perspective and our point of view, connect into them, how it makes meaning and impact in our own lives, we wouldn't see the things that are already there right in front of us, as well as creating more opportunity for ourselves.
And what came into mind was self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
So Derek obviously had a negative view of himself. I'm unlucky. And
By the way, I don't know if his name's actually Derek. I made that up.
yeah, that's fine. So we'll call him Deser. If we keep changing his name, then people quickly lose track, and then it'll be fine. And hopefully, we haven't got any listeners who are
I think
waiting.
we're going to stop there. Hopefully, we haven't got any listeners
who are waiting to correct us. We'll get a flurry of emails going. Actually, the program was in 2012,
and his name was Frank.
Yeah. So, Derek, having this negative self-talk is quite interesting because maybe it's not just negative self-talk, it's stories. So the story is, I'm unlucky. So the story can also be, I'm irresponsible. The story can also be, I'm very lucky. The story can also be, I'm over-responsible. And so the stories can be different. And maybe the opportunity with manifesting, and maybe not in a ding kind of way, other dings are available, but the opportunity with manifesting is to write a different story, to add something different to it. For example, Derek saying, I'm always unlucky, and this is what it would feel like if I was lucky, when I am lucky. And then I would start looking subconsciously for things where I feel lucky.
Exactly.
Oh, I feel so lucky that I'm having a roast dinner tonight. It's a lie. I don't know what we're having. And I would feel lucky if I was having a roast dinner. So that's my point. The manifesting doesn't have to be this, oh, well, I don't do that stuff. What, you don't think about things. You don't connect to things. Forget the label.
Yes.
Because the label itself can be a trigger.
Yeah, indeed.
And invoke all these biases that we have.
I don't do all that woo-woo nonsense. It's all about hard work. Well, I think we're all agreed that thinking about something and then not doing anything about it isn't how you get from A to B.
And just today, I think it was, saw this brilliant thing. I don't know how or why, maybe for this purpose. There was this guru dude, don't know what his name is, and he was saying, why do we talk about hard work? Why does it have to be hard? What if work was joyful? So don't work hard at school, be joyful at school. Find joy in the things you're doing. Because again, that comes back to, I don't know if we talked about it here in another episode, about the language of deficit. And the fact that, if we're talking about hard work, well, that's, I just got to grin and bear it.
Yeah.
So manifesting is, I see it as an opportunity to get my crayons out and glitter and glue and whatever I want and video camera and tell myself a story
Yeah.
and create something different.
Absolutely right.
And not keep playing the same stories over and over again. That I'm really good at, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because that's all constructed. Okay, we will have some experience that tells us, but Derek saying I'm always unlucky, well, that's just factually incorrect.
Yes. There is evidence
Yeah.
to show that you're not always unlucky.
Yeah.
Because you're still breathing.
Quite. And so, our reality is, to a degree, the sum total of our choices and the perspectives we choose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why manifesting is powerful, because for a lot of us, it is the opportunity, as you say, to get creative with it, tell ourselves a different story in whatever modality, and to reinforce that time and time again.
Yeah.
And
draw attention to it.
Exactly that. Focus, attention is drawn to it, which starts to recalibrate and rebalance our perspective.
Yep.
And it's that recalibration and rebalancing which opens us up to different ways of acting, behaving, choosing, etc. And therefore something different is possible.
What I'm thinking about is our respective coaching practices and how this is sort of, I've just connected this to manifesting, how often the work we do when we start with a new client actually is manifesting what it is they want to be different. It's helping them to explore the thing that they want to be different. And, depending on the person, exploring that in a number of different modalities to help it come to life for them.
Yes, and understanding what you want to be different is a very unique journey for each and every one of us. And it's not the same as knowing the things that you're uncomfortable with or not happy about.
No.
It's not necessarily the opposite of those things.
No.
And so it can be a real journey for people to... There's some self-awareness needed, some vulnerability needed, some openness, some shifts in mindset, lots of things needed.
And I'm thinking about in, different situations or circumstances, I and maybe you and maybe others are really good at saying what we don't want. I don't want this. I don't want that.
Yeah, we know that for
I
sure.
don't want to feel like this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be skint. I don't want to ... Okay, so what do you want more of?
That's much harder.
And not only just labelling that, then saying, so what does that mean? So, I don't want to be skint. Okay, so what do you want? Loads of money. Okay, so what does that mean?
What is loads of money to you?
Exactly.
And why is that important?
Yes. And by doing that, it's actually doing the groundwork, if you like, to be able to form a collage of attributes, stories, whatever, that you can use to create this new story, this new narrative, this new image that you can then focus on.
And I think, honestly, that's why some people struggle with manifesting, and I have personally as well, because it's not as easy as it sounds to just say, right, sit there and visualise. Well, hang on a minute. That's, as you've just described, a whole process. I might need support with that.
Yeah.
And, many times we facilitated that for people in various different settings, including in coaching, simply because it's one of those things that's easy to say and much more challenging to do. And so knowing what you don't want is a good place to start. And it is just the start. So, but I think that manifesting journey, to look at it as a journey, not as an interaction, or as a transaction, I'll do
A
this and then
transaction,
that
yeah.
will happen. To view it as a beautiful journey that can and should iterate is a wonderful thing.
So, sounds like we're saying it's not a transaction. It's
No.
not a one-stop shop.
No.
And it is an interaction. You do need to interact with it. You do need to do something with it. It has to be active.
Yeah, you have to interact with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and then act upon. And in my experience, when there's congruence with your manifesting, excuse me, got a bit of windy pops there, listeners. Sorry.
You're welcome.
Many apologies. Better out than in, however, having said that.
God, don't half smell.
Rude. It doesn't smell. Well, it only smells of fragrances that are delightful.
Rosy eggs.
I did have eggs for lunch.
Did
Sorry
you?
about it. So when you... I've lost my train of thought again. Keeps happening to me. The point is that if you actually have this congruence within yourself,
Yeah.
the action can feel really easy, relatively effortless, and that is because you're in this flow state, and it won't always be like that, of course, but if there is joy in it, to your earlier point, and if you are really speaking deeply to who you are and what you want, then actually it's not that you will get there effortlessly. It will require focus and energy and so on, and it will be a journey of
Discovery.
absolutely discovery, and there will be highs and lows and ups and downs, but actually you'll look back and think, well, that wasn't a struggle. Well, no, it wasn't a struggle because everything's aligned. It's your time. You're shining in your own unique way, and that is when manifesting is at its most powerful.
And it may be a struggle, and that's also fine, because learning lots of things through struggle is no bad thing. So manifesting doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
No.
Manifesting just means you're able to clearly see the impact of being in a future state. And you can tie it all the way back to the simple example of buying a new car that maybe you can't afford. And so you're not going to be able to buy that until you can afford it. And you're so tuned into what it feels like and what it would be like and da-da-da-da-da, that before you know where you are, you're going, wow, we can afford this new car now.
Yep.
Well,
Love
amazing.
I'm off to draw a vision picture. I don't know about you.
Are you? I'm off.
Wonder what the smell was.
I'll leave you to it. Tidy up after you've done all your glitter and glue.
Roger.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.
We'd very much welcome your input. And if you've got anything to say or a topic you want us to be curious about, you can email us curiousbrainfarts@gmail.com.
Curious Brainfarts.